We got an opening SEC meet this week as a result of missing last week, and open with Arkansas. Arkansas is a much improved team. They've got a very talented freshman class that has come in, and I expect that we will get their best shot as we have in the past, and expect it to be a great competition. I think it'll be hopefully a big crowd. We're looking for our first sellout in a little while, and hopeful that the students come back now that they're back in school, and we can create a great environment on Friday night. Jordan and Chris and Kyla are doing a great job over there in Arkansas, and continuing to build that program day in and day out. They had their first meet last weekend in Bud Walton Arena. That's the first time they've ever gotten to compete in there, and sold nearly 10,000 seats. So they've got that program headed in the right direction, and we know that it's not Arkansas of old.
How did last week, can you help you, Brian? How did last week, unexpected week off, did it help your health-wise?
Yeah, I think the silver lining of that, you never want to miss a meet, and we were, I did everything I could to try to figure out a way to go. But at the end of the day, I think we'll be a little healthier. We still got some kids that were sick, that are fatigued right now. They still aren't completely out of the woods yet, and we saw that yesterday in practice. But I think overall it did us some good. We'll have everybody available again on Friday night, and with the exception of Haley. Haley will be out indefinitely. We probably will get bars out of her this week, and that'll be it. But beyond that, I think it helped us. I think we got some good work in over the weekend, and saw some good things, and just I think we're in a little better place. Hopefully that's the silver lining. We don't yet know if that meet will be made up. We're looking at doing a Sunday meet after the Alabama home meet, but Missouri has not confirmed whether that's going to work or not.
Well, going off of that, how much does just missing the second meet of the season and already having to have the schedule change to open the season, how much has that altered and kind of maybe given deja vu of how last year was?
Well, I think the first meet, there was a lot of deja vu, with Sammy getting hurt, and it sort of broke our momentum in the back half of the meet, because we came out on fire. I mean, it was, so there was a little bit of deja vu from that standpoint, but really, all we've tried to do is kind of hit the reset button. When we had the issues, we gave them a little bit of extra rest, and I think that it'll be beneficial over the long haul. That's what I'm hoping anyway. It seems as though it will be, and we can kind of hit the reset button and treat this one like our first meet, really.
Has that increased the challenge though of just getting a good start to the season?
No, I don't think so. I think our kids are in the right place mentally. They showed some fragility when adversity strikes. They've got to be a little tougher minded. But I've seen some growth. I came in here a few weeks ago and told you guys I was looking for some leadership from some kids, and I think they heard me, and we're beginning to see and hear the kinds of things you want to hear from your team, and that's a good thing.
I know it's still early in the season, but with the cancellation last week, does this alter anything that y'all would be doing this week? Like, are y'all attacking the same way?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, our message this week is just a real aggressive mindset, trying to get comfortable now. We've gotten one under our belt. We know what that feels like. We ought to be better this week than we were than the first one, and that's just being aggressive and understanding. The messaging for us really doesn't change a whole lot, regardless of circumstance. They know what we're trying to create in terms of our mental approach and the way that we go about our business, and I think they're bought into it. It's still a work in progress, but I think we're beginning to see signs that they're going to get there.
Can you talk a little bit more about Haley's situation? You said you think she can do bars, but the things like floor, obviously, you say indefinitely. I mean, you're going at some point this season, or?
Yeah, I mean, we hope. The problem with this particular injury, she didn't. It's a plantar fascia on the bottom of her foot, and it's not completely torn, and so she tried to run yesterday, and it's painful when she tries to do that. She can land, she can, as long as she's up and down, it's pretty good. It's pushing through on her foot that, and that's how the injury occurred. She just took her first step to run and felt a pop. And it's only the second time I've ever seen that in 32 years. I've heard of a lot of people doing it, but it's only the second time I've had to deal with it. Walking around day to day, she feels fine, but it's when she tries to push off. So it's either, it'll either rectify itself, or the rest of it will tear. And in some ways, this type of injury, that's the best thing that could happen, because when it's gone, it's gone. There's nothing structural. There's no danger structurally to the bottom of her foot or to the stability of her foot as a result of this injury. It's just painful.
You can put Sammy back on bars?
I believe so. We'll see for sure tomorrow. She did full routines yesterday and looked pretty good doing it. It was the first time she had done a full set since that meet. So we'll see for sure. Thursday it was when we'll make that final call. But I always try to give them the lineup 24 hours ahead of time in case there's anybody that's surprised one way or the other. They've got time to, go through that process of either getting excited or grieving. I don't know, whatever the case may be. But try to give them a little bit of heads up on that so that they can be prepared. But she looked pretty good. I'm pretty sure she'll be back in.
KJ was such a bright spot. Are there other girls that you're hoping pop this weekend as well?
Well, Leah Fenning's back, and so you're gonna get to see her on something, at least one, if not 2 or 3 events this week. She'll be in, and she looks really good right now. So we need to get her feet wet. We got to get her going, and get her over the freshman jitters, freshman hump, whatever you want to call it, the first time out. But she looks really good, and that'll be a nice shot in the arm as well.
And then finally, just SUNY at Auburn, and the meet on TV this weekend. SEC gymnastics is really in the spotlight. Is it something that you feel like now's our time? We got to further capitalize on the exposure we're getting.
I absolutely. I've been preaching that to our coaches association for years. Once we finally were able to get a good partner in ESPN and the SEC network to carry us live, we've captured a lot of momentum, but it can go away as quickly as it came. So, things like increasing roster sizes are important to me. I'm a strong advocate for an increase in scholarship numbers for our sport. We haven't had an increase since 1995, and some other sports on the Olympic side, women's have had 2 in that time frame. The pool of talent has grown 4-fold since the last time we had an increase in terms of athletes that we can recruit. So there's a lot of really good athletes that are going without opportunities right now, and I don't think that's a good position for us to be in. And I want us to expand and take advantage of this exposure, and hopefully increase roster sizes or make it more attractive for other programs to be added, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's just good for our sport. So the TV has done wonders for our sport. ESPN tells us, and this is their words, they're bullish on gymnastics right now because they see their internal numbers. They don't release those to us, but in many ways we're second only to football in terms of the numbers they see on the ESPN, on the SEC network.
Going back to KJ, for her to come out shining like that in her first meet of her college career, how likely can she become like the anchor or like the it person of the team?
Yeah, I don't like the term anchor. We throw that thing around. I hear it in the PMAC. I'm not a big fan of that. I think, in the old days, people used to stack their lineups, and your best kid was last, and you sort of built that way. I'm not. In recent years, you don't see, a lot of times one of our best kids is our first up, and Kai Johnson's first up on bars. Christina Desiderio is first up on beam, and she's one of the best, most consistent beam workers we have. So I'm not a big thing on anchor. I think KJ is the sky's the limit for her. I think right now we're going to keep her kind of in that place where she is and let her continue to get comfortable and let her confidence grow. Confidence is an issue for her, believe it or not. You watch this explosive athlete, and it's something that she battles, and in training, she's not always that confident and always super consistent. So it takes time, and we're gonna bring her along at a pace that I think she can handle, And, but I think over the long haul, over the next 4 years, there's no limit to what that kid can do.
People finally get to see Kai Rivers perform against Centenary. Is she one of those athletes you talk about exhibiting leadership, being
No doubt.
vocal? What does she bring to your team on and off the floor?
Kai Rivers is our alpha. I mean, she is, she's the most vocal, she's the most thoughtful, she is, she has, episodes of getting down on herself, which is probably the only sort of chink in her armor, I guess. But she is she's a great leader, possesses all the qualities you want in a student athlete, and she has a way of leading in a very gentle, almost loving way. She can correct kids and correct her teammates in a manner that's not barking, that's not sort of chastising them, but coming alongside them and getting them to understand why something needs to change. And so she's really the one that I've begun to see more of what I just talked about in. And Kaya and Haley both are trying to step to the plate on that too. So we've got the makings of it in there. They've just got to understand and embrace that role. Gymnastics your whole life until you come to college is an individual sport. And then you come to college and you got to figure out this whole team thing. And that's a very foreign concept to them. And everybody embraces it at a different pace and a different level. And but as they figure that out and as they begin to understand the impact that they have on one another, they start to grow in this role. And I've been really pleased. Kai is the key to that.
You got to feel like you're contributing too, right? I mean, last year she was.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Leadership is only as good as you can have kids that are natural great leaders, but they don't have the platform. It doesn't make it as effective. That's sort of an unfortunate consequence. One of the best examples of that, Olivia Gunner on our team last year, was a great leader, but because she didn't compete as much, it sometimes she would get challenged. Nobody's going to challenge Kai Rivers or Kaya Johnson or Haley Bryant because of the platform that they already have and the respect that they get from what they're able to do in the gym. They when they speak, it's like thunder going off in the room, and the kids respond to those guys. And Kai being able to contribute this year, last year she did what she could, but when you're not out there and there's a tendency, everybody kind of recedes when they don't feel fully a part of things. And I think she did that a little bit. But this year, she's finding joy in doing gymnastics again, which makes her countenance that much better, and everything just kind of grows from that. She's like, when she's doing well in the gym, it's like the sky opens and this ray of sunshine comes to the gym because she just exudes good energy and good vibes.
Anything else? Thank you, Jeff.
That was a long answer.